overdress. And I've been meaning to make this video for so long, but it's finally here. We actually have the new Nirvana Jheva coming out in just a couple of weeks, so I really wanted to make this video for you guys. Trickstar? Where's the video, Sam? You said there was going to be a video. It comes out in 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks! Oh wait, no, that can't be right. It's been a year! Almost a year! Where's my video? Well, to be fair, Trickstar, I haven't been making, any videos lately. I'm just now getting back into it. Is it because I'm not Blaster Blade? Blaster Blade got a video! What does Blaster Blade have that I don't? And Blaster Blade was, my OG partner. Come on. But I'm your partner now! Okay. I'll make the deck profile. Hey, what's up guys? It's TheInfinityBreaker. Bringing you guys a very long-awaited deck profile. Sorry about that, Trickstar. Today's deck profile is on Nirvana Jheva. This has been a long time coming. I almost thought about waiting until set 13 to do this, but I figured it'd be fun to do one now, and then I can do one when set 13 comes out, because after set 13, the deck is completely different. Arena just changes the game. But yeah, this was a deck profile I wanted to make about a year ago, when Nirvana Jheva came out. But, life happens, so we're finally here. We're finally going to do the deck profile. This is one of my favorite decks. This is my favorite deck. It's my main deck that I play at locals. It's my go-to. I love Nirvana and I love Overdress and Cross Overdress. Ever since Overdress started, this has just been the deck that I've resonated the most with. Anyway, let's get on into it. But before we start with the profile, actually, I really want to show off these sleeves. So these are some Nirvana Jheva sleeves. My girlfriend actually made the design, and then I had your playmat print them out and send them to me. So look at that, really beautiful. She did an amazing job, and I just had to show them off. But yeah, let's get right on into the deck, guys. So, starting off with our ride line, we just ran the normal Jheva ride line. Surprise Egg, you could run Trickstar as the starter. I've done it in some builds. I did it in my Cloud and Prayer build just for more space. And I think people are going to be doing it in the Arena build, just also for more space. But right now, we're running Surprise Egg for our draw. Running Reno gets us the Trickstar. Ryu gets us a Prayer Dragon. And then to finish off, we run our Nirvana Jheva. We got that DSR right here. God, I love it. Jheva is just so pretty. I love you use Will Dress outfit too. The red just looks really nice, so glad I have that. Alright, now moving on to our main deck. I run 3 additional copies for Jheva for Persona Ride. Persona Ride really helps in this deck. You want to be hitting for high numbers, just because, you're going to be putting more pressure on your opponent with Jheva's restand. So her ability is, once per turn, you can discard a card and call a Trickstar and a Prayer Dragon from your drop zone. Comes in handy, you're going to be doing it a lot. It lets you recycle, which is just really nice. And then her other skill is, when she attacks, counterblast 1, choose one of your units in the crossover dress state and stand it. So that really comes in handy. It's multi-attack. It's something the old deck was lacking until we got Esper Aridia, but now the Vanguard can do it every time, so great card. Love Jheva's design too. It's just, at the start, deck wasn't as strong, but, I've stuck with it, and the deck's finally gone to that point, and, I'm a Nirvana fanboy. I love Nirvana. The next card we're running is 2 copies of Bromvirina. Okay, now this is a card. This is the card people do not like to see on the board. This is the card they always try to get rid of. Brom is just insane. I was actually running 3 of it for the longest time, but I finally went down to 2. So its skill is, when it's in the crossover dress state, it gains 10k. When your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gains 10k. It's going to be 33k on its own. And then if you Persona Ride, that's 43k. Also, once per turn, when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, you Soul Blast 1, choose a column, retire all units in that column of your opponent's. It's a board wipe. It's so good. We love Brom. People at my locals hate Brom. Brom's just a really good card. I was running 3, but I recently went down to 2 because they normally force to guard the attack with Braum, but you guys will see why I went down to 2. But overall, just, yeah, this is like one of my favorite crossover dress units. And then moving on to probably the best crossover dress unit until Straw, we got 3 copies of Mirror's Virina. Mirror's Virina is insane. I also just love this art. I remember I was waiting for this card forever. Mirror's Virina's skill is when it is placed into the crossover dress state, you take 2 cards with Virina, their name, from your drop zone and move it to the original dress. Then, when it attacks, it gains 2k, and you can remove 1 Virina card from your original dress to either draw a card or counter charge. This is your counter charge. This was the counter charge we were waiting for. Gosh, I remember all the memes back when, Jheva couldn't counter charge. You would just burn through your resources, and everyone would be getting counter charges, and Jheva was just sitting there like, where's my counter charge? Well, this was our counter charge. It was a meme for the longest time, then we finally got it. And yeah, this deck is awesome. Great card for the deck. Lets you counter charge, lets you draw. It's just overall a great card. Gains 10k when it attacks too, so we love Mirror's Virina. And next, I'm running 2 copies of Garo Virina. Okay, so I was running 1 copy for the longest time. And then this second copy was a Braum Virina. Garo is great. Garo is mostly used for late game because its skill is, during both players' turn, it gains 10k power. But then when it attacks, your opponent must call 2 or more cards from their hand to guard this attack. He's normally a late game card, but the reason why I decided to add in another one instead of just playing the 1 copy is because he does matter. His skill is important. They either have to ditch 2 cards from hand or they're forced to take the attack, which is nice. Sometimes you want them to take the attack. Like, they're at 4 damage, attack, push them to 5. Sometimes it's just better for them to take that damage, or, if they choose, they can't take that damage, they just have to give up 2 cards from their hand. Also, if you have 2 Garos on your board, and both in crossover dress and they're swinging, that's a lot of resources they're going to have to give up. So I think the extra copy of Garo is honestly worth it. I'm also running 2 copies of Vil's Virina. This card is so important. I remember when people were trying to cut this card, but Vil's is great because when it's in the crossover dress state, it gains a permanent 10k shield and 5,000 power during both players' turns. So it's in a special intercept. And then it cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects. Really nice. So can't be sent to the bottom of the deck by Chronojet or Youthberg. Can't be retired. Can't be bound. It comes in handy. It saves your butt a lot. And when you put it into the crossover dress state, you can add a different crossover dress unit from your drop zone back to your hand. So Vils is great. I've always loved Vils. For the longest, this one was one of my favorites. Just because that artwork, I love the shield. And I do remember when it showed up in the anime. Vils is great. Vils is one of those cards that I think it's just going to stay in the deck forever. Even with the straw build, I think you're wanting to run Vils. So, we love Vils here. And to finish off our Virinas, I'm still running 2 copies of Virina Arcs. We got that alternate art one. Arcs is the OG. I have to run it. I've been running it since I made Jheva, and it was so funny because, in the episode, Yu uses this, and everyone's like blown away. It was like, what? And it was like, I was already doing that, guys. So it's really cool. I love Arcs. Arcs is my go-to. Every time I play with my friends or if I play at locals, every time it's my grade 2 ride, they're like, okay, so he's going to play Arcs, right? And yep, I play Arcs. So it's draw power. It's counterblast 1, draw 2, gains 5k. It's a great card. Will I continue playing it in Straw? I don't know. You need a lot of space, but Arcs is just, I love Arcs. This was my original favorite Virina from the original deck. It's hard. I have so many favorites. But to finish off our grade 2s, we're running a newer card. Kind of testing it out. We're running 2 copies of Explosive Equipped Dragon Launchard. So Launchard's interesting. So when you use Jheva's skill, you discard a card to call Trickstar on a Prayer Dragon, right? If you use this card, let's say this is your discard. Since it was discarded when I have a Vanguard with Nirvana, you can Soul Blast one to call it to rear guard. So it does use Soul. This deck kind of has a bit of a Soul problem, but it's kind of worth it. So you're basically getting 3 cards back instead of 1, and then he has an additional ability where if you have a unit in the crossover dress state, this unit gains boost. It's a 10k booster. That does come in handy. So it's something I'm trying out. I don't know if it's going to be staying in the deck, but I'm actually really enjoying it. onto our grade ones. I'm running 3 of our PGs, just our normal PG. Obviously, if I'm only running 3, we have Elementaria in the deck too, but we got that nice frame rare. Onto probably one of the best prayer dragons. We run 3 copies of Strike Equipped Dragon Strigalio. Strigalio is great because it lets you discard a card to search for Trickstar. So as long as you have a Nirvana Vanguard, when it's placed from hand, unfortunately, you can discard a card from your hand, search your deck for a Trickstar or an Overdress unit. So you can either get Trickstar or Arcs. This just comes in handy, and then when it's used as an original dress, you can counterblast 1 to call a Trickstar from the drop zone. So it helps you get Trickstar back. It's really comes in handy when someone like sends your Trickstar to the bottom of the deck. When, like, let's say it was in an Overdress card and they send it to the bottom of the deck. This is how you get it back. It comes in handy. Then I'm also running 3 copies of Grailmere. So this is another one that's really great because Grailmere's skill is when it's used as an original dress, you Soul Blast 1, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, find 2 Virinas from among them, add 1 to your hand, and then put the other to the drop. And then you shuffle the rest back to the deck. So it's a searcher. It helps you find your Virinas. Any Virina. You just add 1 to the hand, send 1 to the drop. Sometimes you don't even find 2 and you only get 1. Then you just get a free Virina to your hand. So it's nice. And it shuffles your deck. It was a searcher that we really needed. And I think this one's going to be staying in the deck even with Straw. So we love Grailmere. And then we run 4 of our newest partner, our boy. We run Trickstar. We got 1 art there. OG. A Japanese one. Don't worry, guys. My friends don't care at locals. If I were to go to a tournament or something, I'd switch it out. But I just love this art too much, and I really wish we had it in English. And we got our DSR that my amazing girlfriend got me. So Trickstar's our partner. Our deck revolves around Trickstar. You guys saw him. Like, he's Trickstar. Like, we love him. He can't be chosen by card effects, which is really nice. So if he's on the field, he's just a good support. He's our little buddy. We love Trickstar. He's nothing but walking infinite possibilities. All right, that's all of our normal units. Onto our triggers. We'll just start off with our over trigger. We run Drag Veda. You love to restand, that's for sure. And the best thing about Jheva is, let's say you restand Jheva off the over trigger, you can attack again with a crossover dress unit, and then you can use her skill again as long as you have a counterblast. So, yeah. As long as you have a counterblast and you pull this, you can restand another crossover dress unit. It's multi-attack. So you want to run Drag Veda in this deck. It's just the better option. Even with the red and the blue, this is the one you would want to use. I run 4 Burning Flail Dragon. Soul is a thing in this deck. You do use your soul. Braum uses the soul. So does Grailmere. So sometimes you run out of soul. So this skill comes in handy sometimes. And then we run 4 of our just generic crit. I do try to, this is my favorite deck, so I try to have hollows of things. So we run 8 critical. I'm also running just 4 generic heals, all foiled out, which is nice. Not SPs, but you know, I'll take the triple rares. Like I said, it's personal preference if you want to play the effect heals or not. There's so many out there. It really just depends on what format we are playing. But right now, I'm just playing the normal ones. 3 front. I was running draws for the longest time, but you know, I was decking out too much. Even with the fronts, I am still getting pretty close to deck out. This deck can just search, and that's what it really needed. It gets you all your pieces. So this deck is also kind of multi-attack, so I think the fronts just come in handy, and you know, you really can't beat that shield. So 3 front. And then to finish off, 1 Elementaria Sanctitude, because grade 4s, Stridex, it's a staple. So that is the deck. I was actually running the Regalius piece that gives you an extra 25k shield, but I took it out. The thing is with Nirvana Jheva and just Nirvana in general, when it comes to Overdress, you really need all the space you can get when it comes to your Prayer Dragons and your Virinas, so you're kind of limited on what cards you can include. But yeah, that's the deck, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry it took so long, Trickstar. I hope you're happy with me, but here it is. We'll definitely be showing it off again when Straw Virina and Set 13 come out. But yeah, that's it. This is my favorite deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in future videos. Later.